Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. Today, it's just me. You can see it's just me. We don't have any guests for this one, mainly because it's my prediction video for Allstar Weekend. We're going to be covering basically everything from the Allstar Game to Allstar Saturday Night, even the Celebrity Game, and then also the Rising Stars Challenge. It's going to be a lot. Now, obviously, last year they changed the format with some of these, so it's going to be a little hard to, project what they're going to do. But I'm kind of just going off my interpretation of what I think will happen. But without further ado, we can get right into it. So for the Celebrity Game, I did put them on two different teams. Now, the odds of these players, first of all, being picked to the Celebrity Game and then also being on the said team with the said coach, because I picked two coaches too, it would be pretty rare. So the first head coach I had, I think the first one could be Adrian Dantley. Former Jazz player, really underrated, averaged 30 points a game, 4 seasons. Don't forget that, Hall of Famer too. And so for my team, the first one at least, I'm going to rattle off 10 of the players. So I guess I'll go from top to bottom. So first off, starting with some of the former NBA players, because they like to have them in each team. There's 10 people I have on each team. The first one I got is Jimmer Fredette. Yes, Jimmer Fredette, college legend. BYU, it's out there, and I think people would like to see it. I think he probably could put on a show too. The other guy I have that's a former NBA player for this team in particular is Al Jefferson. I know he still kind of plays with the big three, but he did play with the Jazz for 3 years. Some could argue that was his best time individually. I know he made an All-NBA team with Charlotte, and he was pretty good with Minnesota too. But I feel like, I don't know if people remember him the most with the Jazz, but I feel like that's the team I think of him probably the most with. So Al Jefferson too. Now we start getting into the depth past NBA players. So one person I got is former NFL player Julius Thomas, who's a tight end for the Broncos. Utah doesn't really have an NFL team, but Denver's pretty close, so I figure why not. He also did play basketball back in the day. Now a singer that I have who was born in Murray, Utah. He's from Murray, Utah. He was actually, I think, born in Miami, and that's David Archuleta. I just feel like that'd be funny, just because he doesn't look like the type that could, sauce up people on the court. But I decided to put him in, so there's him. We also got Trace Chapman, who I looked up. He's a Denver rapper who has actually worked some with SportsCenter, and considering the Celebrity Game is on ESPN, I could very well see him being in the game. Now, for the WNBA player on this team, I had Aja Wilson, who she's on the Las Vegas Aces. I feel like that's kind of close. There's only, I think, about a dozen WNBA teams, so that's probably the closest one there. And, she's probably one of their better players. And then we're starting to get into some of the people down here. I don't know really these next two. Michelle Branch, a singer from Sedona, Arizona, and then also Del Shands, who's an actor, popular figure apparently in Utah. I'm not really familiar with those. I know Del in particular, I think he's been to some Utah games from what I read, so good to them. The next one I have is Malika Andrews, and I mainly have her just because, I don't know, I saw Richard Jefferson say that she's going to be in the Celebrity Game. I don't know if that's just for jokes or if that's confirming something, but the more I thought about it, I'm like, you know what, I know the one year they had Christian Ledlow in it, so I could very well see them putting Malika Andrews in it. It seems like over the past year, she's probably gained to the peak of her popularity. Now, whether or not people would want to see her in it, that's a different discussion, but I'm not going to get into the depths of that. But I feel like it's a good probability that she probably will be in the game. And then the last one, I just feel like this would be kind of funny, and that's Mitt Romney. I know he's in his 70s, but He's out there in Utah. He went to a playoff game a few years back. I think when the Jazz beat the Thunder, when the Thunder had like Westbrook and Paul George and Melo, and Mitchell was just a rookie. It would be funny just to see him, even if he played like 2 or 3 minutes. And so team 2, I got the head coach being Daryl Griffith. I feel like Adrian Dantley, Daryl Griffith, both of them were elite scorers, especially inside the three-point line. And I don't know, maybe he'll look for some highlight players on his team. So the first former player I have, born, I believe, in Ogden, Utah, and that is Byron Scott. I feel like he still has a game. I mean, I don't know how old he is now. I think he's probably like in his late 50s, but I guess I could see him playing for a game. The next guy I have, I think he was in the Big Three at least one season. I had to give him some love. He's a former Chicago Bull too, so as you know, I had to. And that is Carlos Boozer. Yeah, I feel like it'd be nice to see Boozer in the game. The next one, NFL player for the Arizona Cardinals, J.J. Watt. I mean, I think it was recently footage came out of him in high school when he played. So I don't know. I feel like it'd be interesting. Now the next few people I'm not too familiar with. It's Cascade, who is a DJ / record producer / remixer. But he went to BYU just like Jimmer Fredette, so I could very well see them putting him in the game. And then Futuristic, who is a rapper from Tempe. I don't know how to say it. I'm probably going to get roasted in the comments. Tempe, Arizona. So yeah, I could see them both being in it too. For the WNBA player, also for the Las Vegas Aces, probably I have their 2 best players, I would say, in here. I had Aja Wilson on the first team and then Kelsey Plum on the second team. I feel like it'd be kind of a cool storyline in the game. And then we got Juliana Huff, who is a singer born in Orem, Utah. I think that's how you say your last name. Not too familiar with her. The next one is actually interesting, and it's Macklemore. I mean, I think most people know who Macklemore is. He's a rapper / songwriter. He went to, I think he's from Santa Fe, or went to college at Santa Fe University. But he was labeled as one of the Jazz's biggest fans, according to many websites that I checked. So I could very well see him being in the game. Next one I have is Katherine Heigl, an actress that lived out in Denver. And the last one that I got is actually, I had to have one kind of funny one with Mitt Romney on the other one, even though he's in his 70s. So I thought I'd balance it out and put another guy in his 70s who's from Utah, and that's James Woods. Even if he doesn't play, I just feel like it'd be funny. I'm a big Family Guy, so to see him in the game, I feel like it'd be kind of funny. So my prediction, if these were the teams, I would predict probably Team 1 wins, the one head coached by Adrian Dantley. And my MVP, it's rare that they ever give it to a former NBA player. So I think it would probably be, of these people, probably Trace Jackson. It seems like the people that don't really have more of an athletic background have the most to prove in these types of games. So that would be my selection. So now for the Rising Stars Challenge, last year we had 4 teams of 7 go head to head. It was 3 rookies, 3 sophomores, and 1 G League Ignite player. Now, basically my predictions are just the fact that these are the players that are going to be in it, but the teams could be different. So for head coach at Team 1, we have Rick Barry. I think he coached last year too. So he'll be back, and his 3 rookies, Paolo Banchero. I'm assuming he'd probably had the first pick for all rookies. Paolo's had a great year so far, probably the Rookie of the Year favorite. Jalen Williams for the Thunder. I think he's had a little underrated season. And then the guy who played really well, hit the game winner against a team led by LeBron, and then really went off against a team led by Curry, Andrew Nembhard for the Pacers. Now the 3 sophomores. The first one I have is Herb Jones. I know he's kind of been injured a little bit, but I think that he will still get selected at the very least, even if he, is injured during the game. The second one I have is Alperen Şengün. I think he's been playing really well lately. He's finally starting to put people on notice. I've always been high on him, so we'll see. And then the third sophomore I had Jalen Suggs, who he's kind of been in and out too. He's kind of been a little bit streaky at times, but realistically there wasn't many options too. So I got Jalen Suggs on here. And the G League Ignite player I have is John Jenkins, who, former NBA player. He played with the Hawks. I think he played with the Suns too. So I feel like it's a solid team. Team number 2, head coach Gary Payton. He coached last year too, and I think everyone loves watching Gary Payton as a coach just because he gets so into the games. The 3 rookies I have for him, number 1 is Benedict Mathurin, who, if it weren't for Paolo Banchero, would probably be the runaway rookie of the year right now. Second, I have Walker Kessler. I mean, he's played really good. He just had a 20-20 game with the Jazz the other night. He went off in his NBA debut, and he's really been pretty consistent as a backup center. And then third, I have Jeremy Sochan for the Spurs, who, I mean, he's been an energy guy that can kind of do a little bit of everything. He played really good defense. I forget what game it was against, but it might have been against the Celtics. I think he played good defense on Tatum. I could be wrong, but I know that there was one game recently where he basically locked up the star player on the other team. And then the 3 sophomores I have, starting with number 1, Franz Wagner, who's averaging 20 points a game right now. I think he has the highest scoring average of any second-year player. Second, I have Ayo Dosunmu of my Chicago Bulls. I know we haven't been great that year, but I mean, Ayo's shown some signs of progression, so I'll give him credit. And the third one I have, I can't remember if he was in the game last year, but he's actually had a better season, I would say, and that's Corey Kispert. Wizards still aren't great, but he's having a pretty efficient shooting year. And then the G League Ignite player on this team, I have Aubrey Dawkins rounding out this list. Team number 3, head coach, I think it would be George Gervin. I don't think he coached last year for this event. Rookie number 1, I got Jaden Ivey. Probably the third best rookie. If you notice, I kind of went into a snake format with doing these teams. So Paulo was almost the first rookie pick, then Benedict Mathurin, then Jaden Ivey, and I kind of put them in that order. If you're following along, might be hard to know the whole order, but yeah. The second rookie, though, along with Jaden Ivey, I have Jalen Duren. So it's kind of funny. They're teammates in real life. They'll be teammates in this event. And then the third rookie I have is the one who hit a game winner on my Chicago Bulls earlier this year, and that is A.J. Griffin. He's had to start a few games for the Hawks with when DeAndre Hunter missed. I think when John Collins was out and stuff like that. And they were still kind of trying to find answers to fill the void of Kevin Huerter in a little bit of a way, as kind of that 6-man, so he kind of was playing 6-man a lot. I think he's played solid enough to definitely earn a spot in this game. Now, the 3 sophomores, number 1, I have Scotty Barnes. I mean, probably hasn't played up to how people thought he would this year, but you still got to admit that he's one of the better sophomores currently. The second one I have is Trey Murphy. One of the best 3-point shooters in the class of 2021. And, I mean, he's showing that this year too. I mean, he's shown progression as well, just all around in his game. And then the third one I have is Jalen Green, which, if it was a snake draft, it might have been a little bit low. But, again, like I said, I'm just making predictions of who's going to be in the game. But I think Jalen Green will definitely be a part of the Rising Stars Challenge. And who knows, he could go off. And then the G League Ignite player for this team, I have Eric Micah. Team number 4, head coach, I have Dominique Wilkins. So unfortunately, I didn't have any Jazz players. I really wanted to put Spencer Haywood in here, but I saw last year that they had all players from the 75th anniversary team coaching, which I don't know if they're going to do the same thing this year just because it's not the 75th season, but I kind of wanted to stay by that format. And I feel like Dominique Wilkins would be a type that would coach this event. So rookie number 1, I have Keegan Murray. I mean, he's been a little bit up and down. I think lately he's been playing better. In the beginning of the year, he played pretty well. In the middle, he was kind of down, but the Kings are playing well too. So I'll give him a nod. The second rookie, I have Jabari Smith Jr., probably having an underrated season. I think I saw something he's top 5 in points, rebounds, blocks, and three-pointers made of all rookies, which is pretty impressive, and nobody's really given him much credit, despite even being a top 3 pick, and most people thought he'd go number 1. Third rookie I have is Dyson Daniels. Probably hasn't showcased his full potential yet, but, I think he's still been better than enough rookies in this class so far that he could earn a spot. Sophomore number 1 on this team, I have Evan Mobley. Again, just like Scotty Barnes, probably hasn't shown his full potential yet. Maybe a little bit disappointing individually. Of course, you got to take into account they added Donovan Mitchell, so obviously his numbers weren't going to skyrocket or anything like that. But I think he's still been good enough to earn a spot in this game, as has Josh Giddey for the Oklahoma City Thunder. He's still a triple-double threat. I think he's averaging 12, 6 and 6 lately. So got to give him credit. And then also Bones Highland in this game as well. Bones, he's a lot of times he's been their best bench player, the Nuggets by far. He's also had to start a lot of games because Jamal Murray, he missed a lot of back-to-back games early in the year, and he was kind of in and out a couple times. I know he's been back consistently lately, but there's that. And then the last G League Ignite player I have is Sharif O'Neal, Shaq's son. If you're wondering why I didn't put G League Ignite players like Scoot Henderson, for example, or something like that, the big reason why is because when I check their roster, obviously they're going to be listed as prospects, so I don't think they're actually eligible to be on NBA teams yet, of course. So because of that, I didn't want to put them in the game until they're actually eligible to be in the NBA. Next year, or if it was a year from now and there was a guy playing like that or something, then of course. But my prediction for this whole Rising Stars game tournament would be the team 1 wins, and I think the MVP would be former NBA player John Jenkins. I feel like he'd have a lot to prove. I think realistically he should still be in the NBA. If you ask me, I think he's a quality three-point shooter. I've been talking with a few fans of certain teams, and I don't know, you could maybe make an argument that he could be the best or second best player off their bench, just because a lot of teams are pretty top heavy now. But yeah, so moving on to the skills challenge. I know last year, I believe it was a little bit different. It was the Cavaliers big three versus the Antetokounmpo brothers big three versus someone else, but 3 rookies, yeah. I didn't like that format. I feel like they'll probably go right back to the regular format, and that's 4 guards, 4 bigs, going in a tournament against each other. So my selections for people in the skills challenge, the first guard I have is Oklahoma City Thunder player Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's had a great year. He's averaging 30 points a game at the time of this video. And I think he'll want to be in it. I think he might have been in it once before, but he didn't win. So I got to give him credit and put him in. The second person I have in here might be a little surprising, just because, I feel like once people are more established, they're less willing to do some of these events. But I have it from the Brooklyn Nets. I have Kyrie Irving. Kyrie, as people say, is one of the most skilled players ever. Probably in terms of point guards, you could make an argument that he is the most skilled point guard ever, or one of, or something like that. I feel like he'll do it. He hasn't done it since his rookie year, and why not? Why not? For the Portland Trail Blazers, I also have Anthony Simons. This is the perfect event for him. Usually players that have this breakout like that I feel like, as much as I like Simons, he's definitely not a lock to be in the All-Star game. I'm going to reveal my All-Stars a little bit later, but he's definitely not a lock. So a lot of these players, that are finally putting themselves on the map, I feel like this is a great stepping stone at the very least. So I feel like he'll probably be in this event. And then the fourth one for the Jazz, a Utah representative, and that is Jordan Clarkson. I think that, he's been having a career year too. He's averaging 20 points a game currently. He's shooting pretty well, I believe, from 3, so it should be interesting. Now for the 4 kind of bigs, The first one from the Wizards, I have Kyle Kuzma. He has done this event before, but I don't know. I just feel like Kuzma has evolved. He's kind of a way different player now than he was just a few years ago, and I would like to see him in this event. The second one I have for the Orlando Magic is Bull. I think everyone has been praising, to the NBA, they're like, please, if you're going to put one person in the skills challenge, please make sure it's Bull. That's what everyone has been saying from what I've seen, on Twitter or Instagram or whatever. And I kind of agree with them. I think he definitely should be in it. He's having the best year of his career so far, too, so why not? The next person I have for the New York Knicks is Julius Randle. I believe he was in the event once before, but I think he'll definitely want to be in it. Like I said, with Anthony Simons, probably not a lock to make it. He very well could make the All-Star game, and I'm going to reveal mine later. But, I think he definitely would want to do this at the very least. Might want redemption, I believe, from a few years ago, because I don't think he won it, but I know he competed in it. And then the last one I have is another Utah Jazz representative, Lauri Markkanen, having a great year so far. We let him go. Shame. But I think Markkanen would want to be in this event too, and I think he'd do pretty good. So my prediction of these 8 contestants, who would win, I actually think that Kyrie Irving would win this. I know that might seem like the obvious answer, just because of who's maybe the most accomplished, most talented player on this whole list. You'd be like, oh yeah, it's Kyrie, obviously. But I don't know. I feel like sometimes those players take it easy, and you're like, I'm gonna go for kind of a sleeper pick, and usually one of the sleeper picks is who wins this event. But I don't know. I just have a feeling that if Kyrie was in it, I think he would win. So the 3-point contest, I also have 8 people in this one. Starting off with, from the Denver Nuggets, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. I believe at the time I'm making this, I think I made my list for this a couple days ago, but he was the leader in 3-point percentage in the NBA, so definitely going to be in that list. And another guy that was pretty close behind him, from the Phoenix Suns, I have Damian Lee. I think that he's had a pretty solid shooting year as well. Probably more impressive than people thought. I mean, at least from the signings with Phoenix over the offseason, even though I knew he probably was the best one, I didn't think he'd probably be shooting the ball this efficiently. The third one for the Boston Celtics, I have Malcolm Brogdon. I don't think he's ever done the 3-point contest, but I would like to see it just to see if, he kind of has a set shot, and I would like to know if maybe that is, something that brings him down in an event like this, or if it doesn't matter, because I think he's one of the most effective 3-point shooters in the NBA too. The fourth one for the Utah Jazz, they have someone in the last event. They're going to have someone in this event. I have Malik Beasley. I think I saw he's third in the NBA this year in 3-point makes, or maybe he's second or something. I think Buddy Hield had the most. Yeah, I think it was Buddy Hield, then I think Donovan Mitchell, and then I think Malik Beasley was next. And then Curry was next. So he was one of the 3 people above Curry when I checked a couple days ago. So definitely got to be in there. The fifth one I have is from the Clippers, Luke Kennard. I know he did pretty well in it last year, but I don't think he came away with the crown. So we're going to put him in it again. The next person was also in it last year, did not win, for the Memphis Grizzlies, Desmond Bane. He's having a great year. Might as well put him in it. Next person from the Golden State Warriors, it might surprise you because you're going to say, oh, Curry, oh, Clay. Nope. I think Andrew Wiggins. And I know he's missed a decent amount of games, but you know how they're going to kind of favor the big market teams. But I think realistically Wiggins has shot the ball well from 3 this year. I think he's shooting over 40%. And I mean, Curry's won the event before. He didn't do it last year. Clay's won the event before. He didn't do it last year. I feel like Andrew Wiggins, he might be the one that steps in. And the last one for the Celtics, another guy who's shooting really well, a big man actually, is Al Horford. I feel like it would just kind of be interesting, kind of like that one year when Kevin Love did it. Last year, I think that's when Cat won it. So might as well put a big man in. And my prediction, if all these people were in it, I feel like Luke Kennard would win. I think he would probably take it most to heart just because last year I think he was really close. But I think Luke Kennard would win this event. For the slam dunk contest, now this is kind of disappointing just because there's usually 4 contestants. 3 of them have basically already been named, and that is Shaedon Sharpe of the Portland Trail Blazers, KJ Martin of the Houston Rockets, and Mac McClung in the G League, who he's going to become the first official G League player to ever be in the dunk contest. I feel like the other person they might add, they want to add someone like low-key under the radar anymore just because it seems like everyone has abandoned the dunk contest. And I'm going to go from the San Antonio Spurs, Romeo Langford. I know he's had a few dunks back in his day, especially I think when he was in the summer league and stuff. I don't know. I could see him in this event. But my prediction for who would win would probably be Mac McClung in the G League. This would be an interesting lineup, though, just because I feel like there's no, runaway winner. It could go down to, extra dunks or something like we saw with Levine and Gordon, a few years back. Now we get to the All-Star Game, and I didn't pick them based on, team captains yet, just because we don't know what's going to happen, but I do have kind of an idea of who might win. So for my Eastern Conference starting 5, I have Kyrie Irving at the 1. I have Donovan Mitchell at the 2, Kevin Durant at the 3, Giannis at the 4, and Joel Embiid at the 5. Of those 5, I have Kevin Durant being the captain. But, you look at Kyrie, he's definitely rebounded since he missed a few games early in the year. Donovan Mitchell is having an MVP type of season. And then Giannis and Embiid, need I explain more? So the backup lineup from point guard to center, I have Tyrese Halliburton for the Pacers. I think he's well deserving of it. He's had a great year. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Even though Tatum, you could very well argue him being a starter over Durant, Giannis, or Embiid, I would not mind that. It just happened to fall that way, I guess, for me personally. But both of them have had a great year. I do have Julius Randle in here as well. I think the Knicks, again, they're also a high market team. They're going to have a little bit of leverage over some of these other teams. But I think that he'll definitely get in it. He's played better lately. And the last person I have in here is Bam Adebayo. I think the East front court might be the weakest this year. And that's not to slight those guys because I think all those guys are deserving. But I think just about every other person that I don't have on here from the East front court, probably there's no chance that I would have put him in. The wild cards, though, I have DeMar DeRozan and Pascal Siakam, who, even though Siakam is also a East front court player, after that I probably would not look too much in it. I know I did not have Trae Young in here, which is tough. He's averaging 27 and 10 a game. I know the Hawks have been playing a little bit better lately too, but I don't know. I think with the coaches voting off the bench, they value connection a lot, and it's probably really biased. I completely understand, but I think they value connection with how you are as a teammate. So I don't know if they'll put him in here. I will also say I did not have James Harden on here. He's been playing a lot better recently, so I would not be surprised if he made it as well. Honestly, the more I'm thinking about it, he very well could be the main backup guard. So if anyone wanted to come at me with, James Harden, where is he? I very well could see him in there. Maybe at the spot where Halliburton is and bump him to a wild card and bump out either DeRozan or Siakam. Completely understand with that. But I know he did also miss a month, so there's that too. And then the Western Conference starting lineup, I got Ja Morant, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Zion Williamson, and Nikola Jokic. I think LeBron would be the captain in this lineup. But, Ja, his team is up there near the best in the West. Luka Doncic playing his stats are probably the most impressive of anyone in the leagues. You could argue that he's the MVP right now. Same thing with Jokic, who I also have on here. And, I mean, Zion's missed some games, but his team is top 3 in the West too. And then LeBron, I mean, he's going to be in there, obviously. The backup unit, I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is well-deserving of it. I know his team's kind of down there, but I think he definitely deserves it. You also have Steph Curry, obviously going to get in. He just recently came back. The only reason I don't have him starting is just because he missed some time, mainly. Ja and Luka, I think they missed a couple games here and there, but not nearly as much. Also, both their teams are higher than the Warriors currently. And for the front court, I have Paul George. I very well could see it being a little bit different here, but, I mean, I have Paul George as a small forward. Power forward, I have Lauri Markkanen, who I think does deserve to make it. And it would be great to have someone in there from Utah, with the game being in Utah. And then the last guy I have is Domantas Sabonis at center. I think that rounds out the front court. I think he'd be the first Kings All-Star, too, since, like, DeMarcus Cousins. And then the wild cards, I have Damian Lillard at the first one, and I also have De'Aaron Fox as the other one. So I have 2 Sacramento Kings in here, and I also have Damian Lillard on my lineup. Now, I can very well see Devin Booker being in there over probably one of those guys. The only thing that hurts most of these players is just missing time. And it could go both ways. Like, you could look at how the Suns were up there, one of the best in the West, and then Booker went out, now they're in 12th. You could also look at that as like, oh, they need him, but also like, oh, their team isn't really that good, we shouldn't reward him. Realistically, I feel like they'll probably go with the second one. I know that, Devin Booker is an all-star, obviously. It's just the matter of, like, missing time, really, and also, like, where his team is. That's, I feel like, what will do him dirty, even though I very well could see him being in the game. Same thing, I guess, with Anthony Davis. I just feel like the Lakers are 13th in the West. They already are going to have LeBron in the game. So it's hard to reward 2 guys on a team that's so bad. But my prediction is that Team LeBron will win. They pretty much always do. And my MVP, even though, I don't know the teams, I probably have a sneaking suspicion of the way LeBron's going to draft. And I also think this guy has some ties with Utah as well. He's had a great year. I think the MVP of the All-Star Game this year will be Donovan Mitchell. I think he'll want to show out to the Utah fans. Like I said, Team LeBron is more than likely going to win, and I'm not sure who all he would draft. I mean, some of the players that he's familiar with, but last year he picked Darius Garland because he's like, I got to get that Cleveland connection, you know what I mean? So I feel like he'll do the same thing with Donovan Mitchell. He'll pay respect to him, and I feel like he'll just go off, especially because it's in Utah. Utah fans, they're going to want to go there mainly to see Lauri Markkanen play well and see Donovan Mitchell play well. And I think both of them will to some degree, but I feel like Donovan Mitchell, he's the better player, and I feel like he'll just completely show out and win MVP. Other than that, though, I think that's basically all my predictions. Again, some of this could be different depending on the format, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. Next episode we'll be back at it with the guests and the 20 questions. I know you guys like that as well. But sometimes I just gotta be here by myself because there's a lot of stuff to get through. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.